Okay, Vitality people and people all around the world. My name is Dr. Nick Fanning. I am joined with Kami Kami Waldron, and she is a licensed acupuncturist that is near my office that I've been referring a lot of people to, including my own wife and child, to help out with. And I just want to say that I am so stoked to have people join us tonight. And whether you're watching live or you're gonna be watching this later, because I know there's a lot of events going on, including there's a 5K going on and some other things too. But whenever you are there, get rid of all the distractions and be ready for this, because I just absolutely love interviewing people that have a passion and that just have that kind of contagious energy for this. And I know that Kami must be this way, because everybody I seem to send to her is just getting fantastic results. And so Kami, I don't really know so much about your background and how you got into acupuncture. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks here?
Hi everybody. I'm really thankful for having me today. Kami Waldron. I got into acupuncture. I've been doing it for about 6 years. My undergrad work was biology, psychology, definitely Western science. I got very, very sick a few years ago, and this is a lot of people's story when they get into alternative medicine. Nobody gets into acupuncture in this country because they just get into it. They get into it because it changed their life, and it definitely changed my life. So I went through the gamut, all sorts of things, allergy testing, all sorts of stuff. And it was an acupuncturist that was 3 weeks out of school, turned everything around for me. So it turned my whole life around. And I looked at chiropractic, naturopathic,
Right.
Homeopathic, all sorts of things. And I fell into acupuncture. So
that's awesome. Okay, so you were in biology school, you were just like on this big journey, and you're absolutely right. Anytime you're in a complementary alternative medicine, it has like their own personal story to it. You don't just kind of do it for the glory, because it doesn't seem like it's the hip thing to do. But man, as you can imagine, what we do, Kami, is just so rewarding. So with your own personal success story with that, what was it that said, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to do to dedicate myself to helping people?
It's one of those things that you see as you're going through your internship, just like med school. You have these stories with people. And I knew that it treated pain. I knew it treated fertility, infertility, all sorts of things like that. I had no idea to the extent. And I think what really turned it around is I had this one case in internship, and this woman was supposed to have a double hip replacement. And, we ran a sliding scale clinic. If you couldn't afford to pay, you didn't have to pay anything. And so she came 3 times a week, and then they went and did another MRI right before her surgery. And they said, there's no way this can be the same one, because you don't need surgery on your hip anymore.
That's amazing.
And it just, they're like, we don't understand why they wanted to replace this in the first place. And it blew my mind. And instead of thinking that maybe traditional Chinese medicine hasn't caught up with Western medicine, it's the other way around. We haven't quite gotten to a point where we can explain exactly why it works, and it works. Absolutely.
Man, I can tell you, Chinese medicine, it's like the #1 most utilized form of healthcare in the entire world. And people don't even realize that. They think that Western medicine is all there is. And yet we're like 3rd in the entire world. And that Eastern Chinese medicine, man, it has everything. It has some of the longest research there is. And yeah, sometimes you wonder, like, does this stuff really work? But man, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
What are some of the more popular, one of the more popular or more of the standard stuff that you see on a regular basis?
Probably 90% of what I see is pain. And my first clinic when I was in Golden, Colorado, you really have to specialize in a highly saturated area, like the city. And so I saw a lot of pain, a lot of knee injuries, a lot of back injuries, a lot of sciatica. Through the wintertime, I'm a cold and flu clinic. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, and probably yourself as a chiropractor, I don't think people realize that that's an aspect that we can really do wonders for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember I was taking like an introductory course to acupuncture at my chiropractic school, which, folks, just so you know, I can do the insertion. I am not an acupuncturist. That's why I refer everybody to Kami. There's no way, shape, or form that you should be coming to me for that. But here's the thing. They were talking about this like huge acupuncture teacher who came to the United States, and they said, what's the most thing that's really surprised you about Western medicine and how great it is? And he's like, well, actually, it's a little surprising that you guys haven't figured out the cure to the common cold. And that just kind of blew my mind, and it'd be like, wow, that's really cool because these guys really have it together. So, Kami, great share there. But what would you say your like top favorite things that you love working with?
You know, I love working with kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fast. Their energy is so high. We can treat them in about 10 minutes, you know, and I won't needle, just so people know, I won't needle kids under 7. That's just a personal rule that I have, but there's a lot of other things that I can do, but they respond so quickly.
Absolutely.
You know, a cold will just turn around so fast. Aches and pains turn around so fast. Headaches, migraines, things like that. I can get rid of it on the table. You know, any kind of, you know, female dysmenorrhea, cycle issues, you know, very, very easy to treat. Mm-hmm. Those are probably my favorite things. You know, I love to treat a back pain because it's fun to watch somebody come in. I don't want to see them hurting, but it's fun to watch them get up and walk out and be, you know, 70% to 100% better.
Right. Yeah. The coming in with crutches and the leaving without crutches. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kami, a lot of people, you know, I know this is different, and we're out here in Western Nebraska, and we got your stubborn, you know, we're a little stubborn out here. So why don't you just take us through really what is it about acupuncture? What is the focus of it, and how does it actually work?
Okay. And I'll start out by saying, you know, every year there's a study that tries to explain how it works, and they add another little piece of the puzzle. But straight across the board is every modality addresses a tissue. You know, you address bone and joint, massage therapists address muscle. We work with fascia, and fascia is the only connective tissue that runs from the skin all the way to the organ level. So that's why we can put a needle here and affect the heart, or a needle here and affect the head. I actually very seldom go into a local point on the first treatment to, you know, if you have back issues, I don't necessarily needle the back. If you have knee issues, I don't necessarily needle the knee. That system transmits electrical signals 100 times faster than the nervous system. So a lot of your initial response to something, you know, if you're riding down the street and a fly is heading toward your eye, you know, you're riding your bike, that's your fascial signals sending, not your nervous system. Nervous system is secondary. So we're sort of playing traffic cop with the electricity. When we say energy, we're talking about the electrical circuitry in the body. And if there's a blockage, we're rerouting that. And it's that simple.
Okay. That's curious because, you know, actually as a chiropractor, I'm a total neuro geek. Like, I'm nervous system, bone and joint, but nervous system is huge. Yeah. And then I had never heard that because, man, I'm thinking like 300 miles per hour nervous system. And now you're saying that's 10 times faster than that. That's crazy. Okay, well, wow. So would you say on the spectrum of like acupuncture, we have the very medical-minded acupuncturists, which almost call it just dry needling. They take out all Eastern Chinese medicine, all energy type fields and stuff like that. And then, of course, you have your traditional acupuncturists, which are more like, hey, we're going to balance energy and meridians in the body and flows like that. Where do you lie on the spectrum?
You know, I think because I'm a bio geek, I always like to try and merge the two. I'm definitely traditional Chinese medicine. There's also a kind of a sect of acupuncture that's 5-element, that's very, very energetic. Mm-hmm. Completely different method of diagnosing. You know, I'm definitely traditional Chinese medicine. I'm always looking at balancing the meridians. Once the system's balanced, it knows how to heal itself. I'm not trying to kick the door open on the body.
Amen.
Yeah. And as far as dry needling, you know, I think people need to understand dry needling is effective when it's used correctly. Very seldom is it used correctly, and it's just one method. You know, it's a technique that was created by acupuncturists and used a lot by physical therapists.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just totally medicalized. So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That term was coined by an acupuncturist, and now it's taken. And it again, you know, when it's meant to work, I remember when it's used correctly, it definitely works effectively. But very seldom is it used. You know, it's not something that you want to use 100% of the time.
Right. I absolutely love your approach because I even sent my daughter and my wife to you, and I was really impressed by the fact that you brought in some herbal help with it, some biofeedback with it as well, and did just such an amazing job, even with the cupping of bringing in that approach. And man, we just need something different like that out here because, you know, as you're sitting there, folks, as you're watching this, you know, if you're happy with the way things are, then you've probably been doing things great. But a lot of people out here are not happy with the way things have been going. And so you need a totally different approach, of things, and I think that Kami might be one of the missing pieces that you may need to check out. So Kami, do you mind like just bringing in a little bit about some of your other approaches, including some of the herbs and some maybe the cupping or even the biofeedback too?
Sure, absolutely. We have a lot of different modalities or a lot of different modalities in traditional Chinese medicine. I also am certified in bioenergetic medicine. Yeah. A lot of people have no idea what that is. It's definitely an alternative method that sort of merges traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, and Western medicine. And we use a system that's like a big lie detector test, and it reads your inflammatory markers in your body. We're able to run through and scan for allergies, toxins, heavy metals, chemicals. I do about 6,000 items in a scan. We then create a formula specifically to your body to balance all of that out. Really, really, really amazing. As far as acupuncture is concerned, of course, we do cupping. We do, a scraping technique called gua sha. I am certified in a Chinese method of massage called Hui Na. So I'm not a massage therapist, but I do integrate this into my practice. Electrostem. I'm sure that's something that you use. Do you use e-stem in your practice at all? No? Nope. No electrodes?
Nope. I'm pure chiropractic, pure nervous system. I'm one of those crazy chiropractors. Nervous system, we're getting things working here. Okay.
Okay. So a lot of different ways to the top of the mountain. Yep. There is no cookie cutter treatment for every person.
I love that you just said that. Gosh, folks, I gotta tell you, I get just so mad when people say like, "Hey, we're using the shotgun approach. Everybody's like this. This is gonna fit everybody." No, those days are gone. Everybody needs to be individualized, specialized, and a really big diagnosis happening and figure out what the key is there. So again, I think that's part of the reason why I have just enjoyed really sending a lot of people your way, Kami, because I know you're taking that extra step there. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this interview, because I think we need to get your message out there and get a lot more people to take advantage of this. So I guess one of the questions I was having there is, so let's say that somebody just kind of shows up. Can you kind of take them through the process of what you'd be looking at and your approach to it? I mean, obviously everybody's different, and I'm sure it's per whatever they're coming in with, but ideally, let's say your ideal client came in, what would happen?
Well, we always have a 4-step method, sight, smell, sound, touch. And when I say touch, what's the what's the quality of the tissue? What does it feel like? What does it look like? How old are they? What's their background? We do a full medical intake. My initial treatment is, it's always an hour appointment, but I'll usually take that first treatment, a half an hour is the intake alone. So we go through everything. And a lot of old timey medical doctors, that's what they do. That's where we took our intake form from. What's your lifestyle? What's your stress level? What's your food? And how does this all integrate into what you do? How much water do you drink? How much alcohol do you drink? Are you sleeping regularly? What's your bathroom habits? That all is very, very important. It tells a story about the person. And then we do a pulse diagnosis, and this is probably, pulse and tongue is probably the weirdest aspect for people, that they just don't understand. And the first time I'll usually feel somebody's pulse, and they'll say, it's like 60 beats a minute. I'm like, well, that's okay. That's not. We're actually feeling all 12 acupuncture channels and how that balances. And again, feeling that circuitry in the body. And the tongue is another mirror. It's the only muscle that we can see, so it gives me a good picture of what's going on in the body, the digestion, even the energy level we can see.
I love it. Sorry, I had a little jump there. Yeah, folks, I gotta tell you that that was one of the things that blew my mind when I was learning a little bit about acupuncture, is just the pulse diagnostic and how you take over a broad pulse, and then there's like 20 odd different ways to describe the pulse, I think. And then my instructor was saying, like, yeah, after about 10 years of doing pulse diagnostic, then you're no longer a beginner. You're starting to get the hang of it. So I know there's a lot to it, even with tongue diagnosis and just the intricacies of that, which is, again, another big reason why, even though I don't know how to put a needle in and I know the meridians and the points, do not come to me for that sort of thing. Please go to somebody that's passionate about that sort of thing. And also, Kami, I'm so glad that you do gua sha, because I do gua sha for some of my more complicated cases, and now I don't have to ever again. So thank you for that. Because I just don't enjoy it. Okay. Anyway, so Kami, I know there's a lot of things going on, and we've already gone about 20 minutes here, but the big thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we have a strong call to action for some of the people that are listening here. Because, again, folks, like I said, if you're pretty much happy with the way things are, you're probably not even watching this. But if you were curious, there's probably a pretty good reason why you're curious and wanted to watch in on this. So, Kami, is there anything that you are working a lot with now, or any kind of programs that you might be able to kind of tell the people about that you might be able to help with?
I actually recently merged. I never had any interest in doing anything with weight loss. That was not really my gig. But chronic disease is right up my alley. I do a lot with fibromyalgia, a lot with type 2 diabetes, and I actually created a weight loss program integrated with the biofeedback. And that's a 6-week program. That's something that we've been doing for about 1.5 years now. Guaranteed 20 to 40 pounds lost. We do a maintenance after. It's actually, I don't even call it a diet. It's a metabolic correction.
Wow.
It eliminates many of the reasons that people can't lose weight, that their body isn't healing from diabetes. We've had, everybody that's followed this, most of them come off their medication, and not just diabetic medication, cholesterol medication, blood pressure medication. So this has kind of accidentally become my big passion. And anybody in my circle will eventually just walk away from me because I can't stop talking about it. It's really exciting.
That's what I wanted to interview for, is exactly that.
Yeah. It's really amazing seeing people get their life back with that. And weight loss is great. Rate is great. But when you come in and you couldn't walk through, you can barely walk through the door because you had so much widespread chronic joint pain, and then 1 year later you're running the boulder, pretty dang awesome, and people that are in their 60s doing this. So that's really where it's at. That's becoming a very huge part of our practice.
That's awesome. That sounds really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what's the best way that people can get a hold of you?
We do have a Facebook page, so you can just go to Julesburg Family Acupuncture. We have a book now button. You can call straight from there. We do have a toll-free number. It's 888. Actually, let me look real quick because I never dialed that number. 888-311-2481. Awesome. And then the local number is 303-882-9420.
Great. And folks, I'll have that posted on the website, on my website for sure, and probably try to do it on the YouTube video recording. That's going to be it. Or maybe I'll even get fancy and put it right here. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, make sure you check her out if you're interested. At least it's worth a consultation, or at least just picking her brain and see what the heck is that she might be able to do for you. So, Kami, I got to be honest here. We average probably like 2 or 3 listeners actually during the live event, but well over 100 in the first week. So is there anything you want to leave for these people, in the last thoughts that you have for everybody?
The biggest thing that drew me back out to this area is that people forget that aging and feeling bad isn't just a normal way of life. And the best thing about this medicine is that the body loves to be well. That's the natural state of it. And that's what we're trying to do here, is get people back to a point where they can live again. I have no interest in keeping people in my office week after week. I want to get you back to living your life. So that's what we're trying to do.
Slow clap on that one. Slow clap. So, folks, I'm sure you can understand by now that why I share clients liberally with her, because honestly, the people that are attracted to what I do for a living would be very attracted to her message. And if I can't get the results that I want, or if we get a plateau, boom, straight over. And so, Kami, thank you so much for what you've done for my wife and for my oldest child. I got to make it down there some of the time eventually. I've been trying to. And just thank you so much for coming tonight, spending some time away from your loved ones, or in your free time, to be here to talk about this. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So again, folks, my name is Dr. Nick Fanning. I'm with Kami Waldron out of Julesburg, Nebraska. And I have to impress upon you that, again, it's not one of those things that if you say, oh, this is going to be a someday sort of thing. Really, honestly, just take that action step, get something there. These webinars, these podcasts that I do are designed to try to push you towards action. You don't have to come see me. I don't care, but just do something. If you don't like your life, do something. And right now, Kami is a great resource for you to take a look at. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm taking away time from my family, but I know in my own heart that she's helping a lot of people, and there's probably a good reason why you're watching this tonight. So again, my name is Dr. Nick Fanning. Join with me with Kami Waldron. Thank you again, Kami, and you have a great night.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much.